All right, welcome to the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? You all know today that I think the game of Arsenal will be one of those games that is going to be climaxing match day 8 on Saturday because on Sunday, Man City is playing Wolverhampton Wanderers, and the big one, Super Sunday, it's Chelsea taking on Liverpool, and obviously it's a very huge test for Enzo Maresca on how he's really going to be looking when he's really playing an elite side. Smash like button, comment and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys will be having fun wherever you are. And this is the channel that brings you your latest news and information as far as everything is really concerned. Go into the description box and vote for what we call dental. You get, they're called the eye dental care because you want to obviously bring that award home. And remember, we are powered by Mono Gadgets, dealers in brand new phones, brand new laptops, and even if you need what you call a used phone and a used laptop from the United Kingdom, call them on +256 70 99 88 665. That is Mono Gadgets for you, and they will obviously bring you to where you deserve to be. So today we are really going to be bringing you how Arsenal had obviously charged for the game of Bournemouth that they are going to be playing at the Vitality Stadium, and we are first going to bring you what we call Mikel Arteta quotes ahead of this beautiful game of football. Now, he was really asked about Bournemouth being a biggest threat. He said they are very well coached and they are super intense, really competitive, and a clear idea as to how they want to do it. They should have had 3 different results, in my opinion, especially against the big teams and away from home. They are going to be a big challenge, and we will have to be at our best tomorrow. That's what Mikel Arteta came up to obviously say about the side known as Bournemouth. Now, obviously, I take it with a huge handful of salt because he's really on point that this side of Bournemouth are really very, very competitive, and their intensity never drops. The way they start the game is the way they end it. That's why he's like, it's really going to be a big challenge. And he says that in the previous games they've gone ahead to play, they would have gone ahead obviously get a draw or collect 3 points, but because of what the game of football is, whoever kills off most chances and doesn't really concede very many in his goal, he or she results as the winner. And that is what we are being told by this guy called as Mikel Arteta, the manager of Arsenal. So he's really spot on, and he knows that it's not going to be an easy game. And I like it when he really admits that it's not going to be an easy game, because this sends a clear message to his players that they are not going to obviously come up and obviously play around with this team. So, all in a nutshell, he's prepared and he's not taking them for granted. However much he went ahead, obviously beat them by 6-0 last season at this stadium. Now, the other quote or question that he was asked about his team of Arsenal was as follows, and this was his reply. Arteta on categorizing upcoming matches into sequences of opponents, he said, we try to plan in the international breaks what we are going to have next. What are the similarities of those things, and with the limited time that we have, what are the patterns, what are the things that are going to be efficient that we can work on in the majority of matches. For the next one, it's a bit different to the previous one, especially because we play certain games at home and then away, and the sequence is a bit different. But it's true that the weeks are going to look different. We are going to have more than 2 and 1s to train compared to the previous one. So yeah, time to adapt. Obviously, we all know to it that teams are really going to be playing 2 games per week, you get? And Arsenal are really having close to 7 fixtures before we get back into the next international break. In the Premier League, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Man City, they are playing Liverpool, Chelsea, Bournemouth, and another team in there for you. They have to play Preston North End in the, I think, the round of 16 of the Carabao Cup. They have to face a side called Inter Milan, Shakhtar Donetsk. Is Sporting Lisbon in the mix? They really have some teams to face in there. So it's really going to be a very competitive age, and the manager admits that's not going to be easy, and they're going to be having limited times to train. Why are they going to be having limited time to train? Because you know that there is always what we call a recovery session, that isn't termed as something huge after the game. If at all you play on Saturday like they're going to be playing today, Arsenal will find themselves rest on Sunday. You get, and on Monday they'll come and train to prepare for the game they're going to be playing on Tuesday. Then they rest for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They'll obviously come up and train and prepare for the game of Liverpool. You understand? So it's really going to be a very hard fixture for Arsenal. But I tell you, big teams are really meant for these difficult fixtures. And if you can really go through these difficult fixtures, then you'll be that one person that everyone will be like, he has proven us. He has the balls to obviously take us to the next level. And then before we go into what we call the charge for the game of Bournemouth, Arteta was asked on if the team is in a better place now mentally to handle 3 games in 8 days. He said, we certainly have more experience to do that. During the previous period, we showed that in very specific circumstances and different contexts, we were able to perform and get results that we wanted. Now, we have a different challenge, and our ability is going to be key as well, because we need certain players back as quick as possible. Some very important ones as well that are going to make the process better and more efficient. That is it. Coming in through from the man himself, known as Mikel Arteta. So, it's all about the number of games they're really going to play. And it really plays into the hands of Mikel Arteta and his players. It's all about game management. And in this era, or in this kind of game, it's very hard for a manager not to turn into a laptop manager, because you have to easily calculate the number of minutes that your players are really going to play and really balance them. Because if you don't, you might lose them out. That's why we saw to it that plenty of players of Arsenal never went ahead of to take part into the international break. Partey. There was Kai Havertz, Ben White, Julian Timber. You understand? They have their list. Even the likes of Bukayo Saka played 53 minutes and returned to the club of Arsenal. So it shows you exactly how Arsenal is really looking in there for you. And looks like in every international break, they'll have to obviously tell some players that, please stay here, rest for 2 weeks, to obviously see to it that they really recover and really see their batteries charged for the next set of fixtures they're really having. Now, in the next international break, it's not going to be Partey, it's not going to be Havertz, it's not going to be Timber, it's not going to be any other player. It might be Carafiori, it might be William Saliba, because they know to it that those 2 weeks borrowed will obviously help the bodies of these players really recharge and go to the levels they really want them to be at. So that is the side of Arteta and what he had to say about the game of Bournemouth. Now let's go to the final charge of how these players of Arsenal came in through and represented. That is Riccardo Carafiori, all the way from Italy, and he came in through and obviously put in the required shift altogether. Then Arteta obviously putting in the look at ball, and we all know that it looks like he was really dribbling it. Then this is Trossard and Mikel Arteta obviously fighting for the ball, Then Gabriel Magalhaes obviously pointing his finger at a fellow player during training, and you see Lewis Kelly, Riccardo Carafiori, Jakub Kivio, Nwaneri, Merino, Mikel, and Gabriel Magalhaes all in one picture, speaking volumes. David Raya obviously having a chat with Mikel Arteta, though he's not the goalkeeping coach, but he knows to it that there are things they can discuss into what we call his ball distribution. Then Raya going in for his ball start technique in a best distribution or possible. Then that is Carafiori obviously facing it off with the Arsenal youngster, and you see I think there's Trossard looking on Then Gabriel Jesus, man, who is really fighting to obviously get back into the starting 11 of Arsenal, because Kai Havertz aren't doing justice to him because he's really putting in the Rokani shift altogether. Saliba, obviously one of the players that went ahead, obviously not to have a very good international break with France, but we all know that he can obviously level up things and really put them back to order as a player against Bournemouth. Okay, he's going to be facing Van Lisson. This is Raheem Sterling, obviously taking us to the next levels as a player. Then Declan Rice coming up and raising up to the occasion, obviously being chased. Isn't this who is behind him? I don't really recognize him. Then this is Jorginho taking on Raheem Sterling. Obviously, remember, the likes of Raheem Sterling stayed at Arsenal and they've been training, so we anticipated that Raheem Sterling will obviously get in minutes in certain games because of how the manager knows he needs to rest players at the club of Arsenal. Then Sterling, obviously, taking on another youngster from the academy of Arsenal, and he was like, "You're so young for me and I can go past you and let me show you my class." That is Raheem Sterling looking vibrant into that position of training ahead of the game of Bournemouth. Lewis Kelly with Arteta and his assistant coach on to having those jokes in there with the player, and looks like the player had gone ahead, obviously impress them. And this is how you obviously, that's how you charge the players, especially the youngsters. Shower them with love and they'll shower you back, or reciprocate you back with productivity onto the pitch. Arteta looking all smiles at the training session of Arsenal, and then there comes one of the assistant managers of Arsenal having a talk with Waneri. And this is Declan Rice, obviously training with the club of Arsenal after really getting it done at the international side of England. They won one and lost one, and now he's really going to go back to play one more time before he really plays for Thomas Tuchel, as Thomas Tuchel starts officially to be the manager of England in January. And being January, they'll play their other games in March. So I think the last international break that is really going to be coming in thick and fast is going to be played in November, towards the end of November, and they'll obviously come back and put in the required shift all together, and we'll say bye-bye to the international break, if so. So that's what we went ahead, obviously getting through from the man himself known as Mikel Arteta, and how he really geared up his players of Arsenal to obviously take on the side of Bournemouth. Crazy side, but you all know to it that I went ahead to give Arsenal a 3-0 win, by the way, because I know Arsenal rarely concedes a goal when they're playing away from home. There is the way they really pay a lot of attention to detail every time they're really defending and when their opponents come up, and obviously putting the required shift all together. So Rokani David is my name. I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about Arsenal's final charge versus Bournemouth. What do you make about that? I'm out for now. See you later, and continue to subscribe, because we want to hit 30,000 subscribers onto our YouTube channel, and hope you guys are really gonna be enjoying this to the fullest. I sign out for now. See you later. How many likes? 100 likes on this video. But football is really huge, as West Ham is really gonna be kickstarting it off. I'm talking about the Premier League with West Ham, right? So let me read to you the Premier League fixtures before I obviously call it quits from this channel. Tottenham Hotspur at 14:30 hours, they are going to be hosting West Ham. That is another London derby. East London meeting North London. Then Ipswich Town, Everton at 17 hours. Man United, Brentford, 17 hours. Fulham hosting Aston Villa, 17 hours. Newcastle hosting Brighton at 17 hours. Southampton hosting Leicester City at 17 hours. Then Arsenal is going to be visiting Bournemouth at 19:30 hours. That is the last game of the day. And guess what? Wolverhampton Wanderers City, that is Sunday. Chelsea versus Liverpool, as Liverpool hosts Chelsea. It's really gonna be played at 18:30 hours. Then Monday, Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace are really gonna be tussling it out in there for you. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I'm out, and we love you, we bless you, and see you later when I really drop another huge video in here for you. Hope you're gonna to enjoy this, but all in all, it's really good, and it's one of those moments that Arsenal fans are really jubilating, and they just can't wait to see themselves walk down that stadium of vitality to collect their points and really walk direct back home with those points to prepare for their Champions League game against Shakhtar Donetsk. And Shakhtar Donetsk, remember, is a side that really failed Arsenal to get Mykhailo Modric in the January transfer window of 2023. Remember that very well. So, is it gonna be revenge for players like Leandro Trossard? We wait and see how far it's really gonna go. Bye bye. See you. But don't forget to subscribe and vote for iDental Care.